I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And we're about to review Pantera Domination in Moscow. I don't know if this is the same show that Metallica played on. Metallica did a show in Moscow, Russia, or something like that. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy show. Like the guards were beating them up and all that stuff. Not the bands, but the kids.
Why?
Well, because they were moshing and all that shit, and they had no context for any of that shit. So
really?
Yeah, they're beating the hell out of the poor kids.
What the heck?
He's like the Berlin Wall fell, and so the first time they were able to actually, like, these poor kids were like,
okay.
So anyway, I've actually never seen this video. The only Moscow video I've ever seen is Metallica in Moscow. 500,000 people. It's crazy. It's the first time these kids ever got to see the band, like
live like that.
Live.
Yeah.
Everything else is just whatever. So anyway, I guess Hetfield was saying that there were helicopters flying and all that shit. Like, it was pretty crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, so I don't know. Maybe there'll be some cool stuff in there.
Live in Moscow. Here you go.
This is called Domination! It's a twisted flow. Vital and steal and manipulate, so will to be. And it's hard to say. Absolutely forget when there's nothing else left to destroy. It's a useless blood. Your life to see the trouble. And the rising of war. Frozen, snake to a soul. Lost up to will before right dominate constriction. Oh yeah. It's a military. Fire suspended portrait of a racial new. It's a penalty. It's racial advice and these never demise of your life. The construction blow. Loud laser tricks you to it. Pop it to your head. Forcing you to bed. Your life to see to hurt. And the rising. Snare to the show. Action or something real. Before go. Dominate. What's up? Oh yeah. What's it say? Above you.
they don't know how many people were there. I mean, you can look at the photos and it looks like, I mean, as far as you could see that way, as far wide as you could see, it was amazing. The kids were just rabid.
Jeez. I'd never heard that song before. Never heard that song before. I was always like, what's the big deal about Pantera? I don't know. I felt like if I listened to Metallica, that I pretty much knew everything. Like metal. Like
Really?
Yeah, I just felt like, But this is very, very different than Metallica. Because Dimebag, that's the guitarist, like the way that he writes riffs, it's like the riff like is speaking itself. Like the riff, like the chunks, that little segment, like it has its own attitude. Like it's
The whole thing had attitude.
I felt like the riff was saying like "fuck you."
Yeah, I think it was.
Like, you know, like I don't know, like I'd never heard anything like that before. As far as just like you hear breakdowns all the time, but I don't know, like the way that he was chording it or the notes or whatever, it was something where I felt like the guitar was saying something. It was just not a regular breakdown, and I don't know how many songs that they have like that. But like to me, the song was dying. Like halfway into it, I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't feeling it at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it.
Oh, I was start to finish just entertained.
Yeah.
But I don't know what even the lyrics were about. I was watching them, I was watching the crowd, and I was just listening to the music, and I just felt like it was...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's that I don't like Phil. I guess it's the singer's name. Is the guy's name is Phil. I'm not really a fan of that type of lyrical style. I mean, it's a live show. You know what I mean? Like if early Slipknot, when you see early Slipknot live, you can't understand a word he's saying. It's just you can barely understand him on the record, but live, like I give him a pass for not understanding what he was saying live. But I just vocally like. I just have a really interesting relationship with these vocalists, you know, like the whole Judas Priest situation. But the song was like dying for me, and then like Dimebag, I feel like they just took over the song. Like the guitarist just took over. Like the last 45 seconds, I just feel like the guitarist took over the song, and they were like, just get the fuck out of the way. And I can imagine what it would be like to play in front of like all these kids.
Oh my word. I bet it's incredible.
And like, you know, they were just rocking. Like, I don't understand like how you don't like have a broken neck after that.
That's
they were
what I was
rocking
wondering.
really
I'm
hard.
like, you remember we watched that thing about like football players, like when their heads get I was like, does that happen to these kids?
I bet you anything. Like if you did a like a study on these guys' necks or brains or whatever.
Because your brain is essentially just floating in fluid inside your head. It's not like it's attached.
They're rocking hard.
Like I'm like, your brain is hitting the ground.
I mean, I've seen bands and it's like, you know, there's certain types of atmospheres that like make you want to like just rock hard. I've been to so many rock shows, and so like I went to a show with Cold one time is the name of this band, and they were just a regular early 2000 new metal band, and it was called a Lodo show in New York. Lodo show. You got into the show for $1. So you had these big name bands, but they would only like announce it like, you know, a day. Oh, Lodo show here.
Why would they do that? What's the benefit?
It's New York, so if you get exposure in New York, I mean, you know, whatever. I don't even know. I don't know.
But you said they were already popular, right?
Well, yeah, Cold was a pretty popular band, and then the Newfound Glory. I think I still remember it was Newfound Glory and Cold, and I remember we went and we didn't tell our friends, and they're like, "What the fuck, man?"
I'd have been mad too.
Because we were playing it off. We're like, Cold. We don't like them. Fuck them. And then we just jumped on the train and went to Manhattan.
Why? Why didn't you tell them?
She just never. She didn't want to be around people. You know what I mean? Like she just, you know. So we came back the next day with her lip was all busted because she was in the pit, which was a weak sauce pit for Cold. And the guy tried to push me. I said, and he was like, I was like, you're a pussy, yeah. But anyway, like. The atmosphere though was just kind of dead. It was just kind of like, there was no like, yeah, we're at a rock show. Like sometimes they just show up and they're, you know, it's just dead. But other times you go to a rock show and the fucking place is crackling. It's just like, that's that was it. And I mean, can you think about all those years of repression and Soviet government, like communism and shit, like, you know, like you're pissed
builds up
off,
and they're
like,
ready to let it out.
That fucking imperial government shit, motherfuckers are. I mean, these kids. I mean, if we ever watched a live version of Metallica, like they were getting beat, like, you know, with nightsticks and all that shit, like. And they were, but none of them were leaving. You know what I mean? Like they were just staying at it. So like, but yeah, this. That I'm gonna play that riff again because like it's just so crazy to me. Like, doesn't it sound like he's saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I liked the attitude of the whole thing. But you know what? I worked with teenagers.
There it is, right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Crank it, you guys.
Cranking it there is not that good. Crank it in Yikes. That was hardcore.
Yeah.
For a live show, like that was, you can't really. Because that's what a rock show is all about. Like, it's not really about hitting all your notes or, like, making sure that, like, it's about the energy and the, the feeling.
I think they caught it.
And they definitely got it. I mean, I'm pretty sure Metallica played this, and it's like, that's a tough act to follow, man. Because that, I mean, like I said, I don't know how many other songs that they have like that. This is the band that did Walk. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
When they, like, find ways to, like, put up their middle finger and just say, fuck, at the crowd.
He's doing a solo. And
it always, like, I don't know why. I've always, like, I remember sitting and thinking, like, as a kid, like, okay, there's words you can't say because people say that you can't say them. And they're just sounds. Like, words are made up of sounds. And there's certain sounds we're not allowed to say. Like, they've been deemed bad. And then I remember getting, like, super religious and be like, those words are bad. We should never say those words. And then I remember kind of, like, switching over again on the thing and being like, it's true, it sounds. And then somebody said, if they would have said you can't say cookie, that guy would have been yelling, cookie!
Right. Right.
Mother cookie!
Yeah.
And, like, it's just entertaining to me to think, but, like, for some reason, when you say it, it makes you feel bad. Only because people have said you can't say it.
What?
Fuck. Or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, it makes you feel like, I don't care.
You feel like a badass, you mean?
Like, I feel like I don't care anymore. Now I'm gonna do what I want. Or it makes me feel like I'm communicating my point well. When all the while...
Yeah, it's rock and roll. I mean, it would be more rock and roll for him to say cookie because everybody else is saying fuck. Yeah, you know. We'll start the cookie revolution.
Yeah. But I love the energy. I just like it when they're putting it out there.
Make a shirt with a cookie on it. And really, it means fuck you.
Right.
Only people in the village will know.
You can buy it for your family members.
Do you want a box of cookies? Fuck you too. You have the box of cookies. Agony is the price that you'll pay in the end. Domination consumes you, then calls you a friend. This is kind of like puppets, right? It's a twisted falls, binds are like steel and manipulates the will to be, and it's hard to see how soon we forget when there's nothing else left to destroy. Yikes! It's a useless ploy. So it seems like a person's like will to dominate other people consumes them, and then
Yep.
There's nothing else left to destroy. That's really crazy because on a personal level, on a national level, on a global level.
Yeah, wasn't there that guy that was like, gosh, I don't remember which one it was, but he was like taking over like mad places, and then like he ended up like bursting into tears because there was no other. Was it Alexander the Great or what? Who was it?
Dulal Khanen or Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
That's for you, Khalid. Alexander the Great.
And then.
Yeah, the story is told that, you know, he pretty
I love
much
it when Vin tells me stories.
You know, he's there and he's in his little tent, and he starts bursting into tears. And like, what the fuck is the problem? And they actually did it in the movie Alexander. Like,
really?
He's in his tent, he's looking around, and he's crying because there's no other places to conquer.
Isn't that crazy? But I mean,
How soon we forget when there's nothing else left to destroy. Yeah, it's really interesting thing. Like, what is it within human beings that gives us the impulse, some of us, to just like control and dominate everything? Like, the desire for control is like so crazy.
I'm a controlling person, and I don't know why I'm controlling.
Yeah.
You're not a controlling person, but everybody thinks you are. Or lots of people think
what
I
found is that it's this weird dichotomy with people. Is like, a lot of people want to be controlled, right?
To a degree.
So because if you control them, then they know what to expect, and life is
easier.
Life is a lot simpler for them. Mm-hmm. So if you are the type of person that kind of knows what's going on or kind of can problem solve, mm-hmm. people would surrender a lot of control to you. Uh-huh. But then they resent you because they surrendered that to you, even though you didn't ask for it.
Right.
So like that's kind of the situation. It's like, oh, I know what to do. We should do this, and that. Now, I'm not saying I'm the only way to do it. But what ends up happening is people are like, oh, okay, Vince figured it out, and we'll do that.
Yep.
But then after a while, it's like, why are we always following this motherfucker?
Right.
And then there's that tension, and then there's that upset, and it's like, well, he always knows the best solution. Of course, a person could say, okay, why does he always have the best solution? It could be because he's just smarter than everybody, or it could be because an entire group of people are constantly handing over the problem-solving duties to this guy.
Oh, yeah.
He has more practice than everybody else.
That's true.
So you know, and then what ends up happening is, instead of doing the hard work of becoming a problem solver yourself, you just want to do another power grab, and then you like create all these situations where you can do a power grab so that you can quell that feeling of insecurity and lack and that other people have. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Wow.
You know, because being a person who's influential and it's a very heavy responsibility. You know what I mean? So
why?
like,
Because you could influence them to do terrible things? So what do you mean?
Well, not only that, it's just that when people get in trouble, they come to you and say, "What the fuck am I supposed to do now?"
Right.
Right. So it's but for the person on the outside, they want it. I've never really met many influential people, and I know a couple of them, who want it. It's always the people who lack influence in other people who start obsessing about it. You know, it's like Hitler was when he was a kid, like he was like kind of left out, and they beat him up and all that shit. You know what I mean? His mom, and you know, he had all those family issues, and then, you know, he rises to power and he wants all this influence because he's got all this fucking shit in his background. You know what I mean? So it's like,
wow, oh, that's interesting.
Or like even like religious people, they're like that. You know, like
religious people are very much like that, but why?
Religious people are the corner market on that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's one of the things that led the bad guys to kill Jesus. Mm-hmm. It wasn't Satanists.
They didn't like the influence that he had over the people.
Yeah, it wasn't Satanists or atheists that were going around killing Jesus. It was the religious people.
Right.
The Old Testament reading, Torah memorizing. You know, seriously.
The ones that knew the prophecies about him.
Yeah. And then, you know, so, you know, I think people, like, feel like a certain lack in themselves or a certain level of insecurity. But this is why I'm so big on not really investing a lot of any of my value or self-worth in other people's opinion. Because on the one hand, you can be controlled by other people.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it turns you into a controlling person. Because then, once you start realizing that you can control a person and that people report to you and all that shit, it gives you a sense of, it strokes your ego. That you're now this, like, powerful person in control. So now, it's another way of getting all of your affirmation from another person. It's like, oh, I can control these people. Now I'm important. Okay, I'm good. Instead of just being able to find that, you know, within yourself or your faith tradition or whatever it is. Because people are just, you know, and every time, like, somebody's, like, desperate to control other people, like, it's always like that. They're always, like, massively insecure. I've never met a very secure, controlling person.
I just admitted 10 minutes ago that I'm controlling. Well, now you guys know the truth.
Well, do you think you're like a very secure person within yourself?
It depends on what it is, the subject.
It's true. That's true.
Because I'm very secure in some things, and then there are other areas where I'm not.
Yeah, that's true. This one was interesting. Your blackened heart is reaching to its divinity.
Yeah.
Now blackened heart is reaching out in divinity. Body suspended by chains over razors and nails. It's a penalty. Each razor a vice and each nail marks the demise of your life. Grimm's construction grows. Yikes. Forcing you to bend. Yeah, you can kind of get trapped in controlling people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you end up becoming controlled by the concept of control itself. Mm-hmm. And how many decisions get made by people because they're afraid?
I was gonna say because of fear, really.
Right, but it's fear of a lack of control. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people's fears are based on like why are people?
Well, you know what to expect if you're in control of the situation, then you know exactly how it's gonna go. So nothing unexpected is gonna happen.
Yeah, that's a lot of our conflicts. Is like you want to map out the entire everything.
Yep.
And I'm just like, well, let's just do it, and we'll figure it out as it goes along.
I hate that feeling.
And it creates real conflicts. And you know, I don't know, like how, you know, I don't know who's right or wrong in that given situation, but yeah, it creates. I'm like, well, who cares? Let's just figure. You're like, what do you mean, who cares? You know.
Is that on purpose?
No. I was trying to keep this thing. Yeah, it's like, you know, I don't care. Like, we'll figure it out as we go along. But you want the whole thing.
You know what's
laid
crazy
out.
is I used to be that type of a person.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I love the whole,
caught
like,
you with the tail end of that.
Yeah, I love the whole fly by the seat of your pants. Like, let's just go on an adventure and figure out what's going to happen. And there's so many things that, like, if I would have met you back then and we'd have been together, like, there's so many things that I could have avoided.
Yeah, we'd have probably been dead already.
You're probably right.
Probably right.
That's true. We probably would be. That's crazy. Well, that's really crazy. We wouldn't even have this village right now.
Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, the lyrics are pretty simple. I don't think that this guy's, like, known for, like, intricate lyrics, but I think they're more like an instrumentation energy.
The vibe.
And it's funny too, like this guy's like completely bald, but he was rocking really hard. He did like a ninja kick at one point.
Yep.
And his I mean, it was some pretty. I was like, shit, that's a
tattoo on the side of his
flexible
head.
motherfucker. Good for him. What do you give it? See, this is a song where you have to rate the video. Like, I'm gonna completely contradict myself because yesterday I was pissed off at you. I'm like, the video has fucking nothing to do with it. But
people were like, I still don't understand why Sori gave it, docked it. Because of the
flying toupees. Yeah, that's probably like the low point for you in this entire.
I know
operation.
people hated me for that.
Well, everybody was hating on me for rocking out to Master of Puppets. People were like, oh, you're fucking up Sori's, whatever, you know, her concentration, which that was your most...
I still gave it a high...
that was your most astute, erudite breakdown ever. And like, you were distracted.
Really?
People just don't like to see other people happy.
It's so... I love watching
it's fucking, it's Master of Puppets. Like, what do you want me to do? Come crawling fast. Like, I know what's coming. I know the metal that's there. No, I'm not gonna, like, chill out. I'm not gonna chill out, you know. This is how but this is the thing about people, like, we want authenticity. Well, this is authentic Vin. I like that shit.
And authentic Sori wants to watch him rock out.
When I'm at rock shows, I rock out. That's it. Simple as that. What do you give the song?
I think I'm gonna have to give it a 9 because I really enjoyed it. I loved watching them. I could just go around and hug them all.
Well, the song was fading for me.
Okay, the lyrics, meh. Alright,
Yeah.
For energy, I'm giving them a 9. For, like, just the song itself, I think I'd go with a 7.
Yeah, it's a 7 for me. It's a 7 for me, but
what about their energy?
I was gonna say it gets a half a point for the energy. Because, you know, and the breakdown was legit, but it was dying. The song was dying to me as it went on.
Yeah, it didn't die for me.
And Dimebag saved it, so there you go. 7 for me. What is it for you? 9?
I'll give it an 8. Because the lyrics, meh.
The lyrics were weak sauce. 7.5 average. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.